Anthony, you've muted yourself.
Oh, man, I muted myself. We're off to a terrible start. It's late. The Sox won. Welcome to another edition of the Sox On Tap postgame show. Steve with the assist here as we get off the ground. It was a delayed start for the White Sox, a delayed start for us tonight, Steve. So we're burning the midnight oil. We're going to talk about a 4-2 victory over the Kansas City Royals. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing a lot better than I would be doing if they would not have won this game given the late start. So I'll take that at least.
Hey, wins are wins, and we'll celebrate them here. But there's a lot to unpack from this one. We're going to try and cruise through this show, Steve. It's going to be an early morning for both of us tomorrow. Lucas Giolito, right out the gate here. I thought this was a great start from our boy Lucas. What are your thoughts on Mr. Giolito's 6 innings, 5-hit baseball? He only gave up 2 runs, walked 2, struck out 9. We've talked a little bit on Sunday about the White Sox leading the league in strikeouts. He continues to pile up those strikeout numbers. He does give up 1 solo shot to Vinny Pasquantino, but he looked dominant tonight.
Lucas looked really good. He went out there and he looked really laser focused today. And it was almost as if he was, I don't know, maybe hashtag mad online about something he might have read a couple of days ago. And seemed like he went out there with a very renewed focus and a couple of particular spots in there in the 5th and the 6th inning when he got himself into trouble, where I know we have been very critical of him in the past for crumbling in moments like that. He really hunkered down and kept his team in position to win a baseball game tonight. So you have to be pleased overall with what they saw from Lucas going out there, being able to cover those full 18 ounces I talk about so frequently. So kudos to Lucas, and he's continuing a very nice positive trend of solid performances of late.
Yes, he absolutely has. And we'll get into some of those comments here in just a minute. But the fact that he came out with the mentality today that he was going to shut you down, I think you could see it in the body language. Something we've talked about on this show a couple, 2-3 times is, when Lucas Giolito is on. Tonight, he had that. He had that demeanor of a pitcher that was on. And he worked himself out of a couple of jams that I think in recent performances, just judging off of what I saw from Lucas Giolito tonight, would have wound up disastrous for this team. And I feel like that's sort of like the same story that we've talked about over and over on this show. I was impressed that we were able to overcome some adversity tonight with Lucas Giolito on the mound. And I think that's a big step forward for him. Obviously, when you put the context in place here of some recent reports that were online that you had just mentioned, I kind of wonder what the mentality was about tonight versus in outings prior.
So are you saying that he was looking to up his trade value, Anthony?
Could have been. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if that was the case, but he definitely looked like he had something to pitch for tonight.
He definitely looked like he had a little bit of a fire up his ass here this evening, and that's something that I know I like to see out there. Again, I think a lot of people have made a lot in recent years about Lucas and his body language in particular out there, particularly when he finds himself into tough situations. So to see him go out there tonight and really just have that laser focus, that was a phrase I used early on here, but it was very evident early on, even after he gave up the solo home run to Vinny Pasquantino, get some spaghetti. And,
I'm a big Vinny P guy. I like Vinny P.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Why? Because he's one of your pies. Never mind.
That's anti-Italian.
Whoa!
Discrimination here.
Whoa! I would never do that. I would never, ever do something.
I think he's a great baseball hitter, Steven.
Anyway, that's not why you called. So goes out there, gives up the home run in the first inning right there. After this team got shellacked yesterday, fall behind early in the first inning, we've seen this happen a lot with this group in the last year and a half or so. Things just have a tendency to snowball, and you get a cumulative effect of one bad event leading to another, leading to another. Next thing you know, the shit rolls downhill. So to see him after that, just basically shrug it off. It's like, okay, it's one pitch. You got to score to win anyway. Whatever. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to shove it up your ass now after that. That's the type of mindset that I've been looking for from this guy. And I think a lot of people have been looking for out of him for quite a while. So to see him do that here tonight, you love to see it.
We absolutely do, Steve. And it wound up in the White Sox favor. He was able to work himself out of a pretty decent jam, bases loaded jam there with one out. I believe that came in the sixth inning. Just excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And whether or not it was in any way, shape, or form fueled by reports that came out of some news outlets, we'll take it. We'll take it. On the offensive side, Steve, I believe we owe the people in our role because your guy, Luis Robert Jr., ties this thing in the fourth inning on just an absolute laser beam home run to left field. So, Steve, floor is yours.
You're saying the people want it? The people need it?
I think the people need it.
They need it? Okay. Well, listen.
I don't know if they have a choice at this juncture.
I'll say this.
We haven't had enough of these on the show in a while.
When that ball came off the bat, courtesy of Luis Jr., it was a great sight to see. It was shot out of a fucking cannon. And he's really continuing this heater that he has been on for, what are we at now? 7 to 10 days here at this point.
Yep, we've passed the week mark.
We are now back at the point where his OPS is back over 850 for the year. The volatility of the Luis Robert Jr. train is really something to behold. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And right now we are in one of those highest of high points and just need to let it ride.
He looks like a star out there right now.
He does.
And that's what we want. If these guys could put it together all at the same time, that would be just so fucking nice. But Luis Robert, solo shot. I wish there was somebody on base for this. There wasn't. But we do get one later on from another guy.
Courtesy of my pick to click. It seems as though
you're on a little bit of a heater.
I am a little bit on a little bit of a heater here because Andrew Vaughn, and I just got to put this out there. It's really nice and it's refreshing to know that with all the shit surrounding the Chicago White Sox, at least they have a first baseman that can get extra base hits and actually hit the ball over some fencing that is set up prior to the game. And I can't imagine what it has to be like to have a first baseman on your team that's just a little slap dick singles hitter that doesn't even have an OPS over 600 with no home runs. I can't even imagine what that has to feel like right now.
Well, let's dig into it because there's some case studies out there right now that are available to look at. And one that sort of affects White Sox fans in general, because I was doing some research on the old Google machine tonight during this ball game, and I found out that there's still a first baseman who was paid highly by a baseball organization that a lot of people hold to very high standards, the Houston Astros. Their first baseman, who is a former Chicago White Sox, goes by the name of Jose Abreu, has still yet to leave the yard. Is this a Rick Hahn W?
I mean, some might say that this is a Rick Hahn masterclass. Here as we're sitting on Nueve de Mayo, Jose Abreu is, how you say to this point, not good. Some are even beginning to speculate, is he #cooked? So, it's an interesting discussion to have here right now. If you look at the numbers, I mean, they are really really bad. And it's funny because, last year when he had the slow start, you looked underneath the hood and you looked at some of the underlying data, the hard hit rate, the chase rates, things basically were telling you, hey, this is going to turn around. We just have to wait for it because the numbers are all there. They're all positive. Right now, they're not. In fact, they're really, really bad. I mean, if you look at it right now, he's got a 5.3% walk rate, a 21% K rate. I mean, those are numbers that the K rate, that is close to a career high for him. It's come down a little bit here in the last week or so. He's slugging 261.
Pretty sure Nick Madrigal might be hitting higher than that.
I think the Keebler Elf does have a higher slugging percentage than that. And if you're getting outslugged by a guy that's 4'6", that can't even, see over the pitcher's mound to make a throw to first base, it's pretty embarrassing if we're being honest with ourselves here.
And that's why I asked the question, was this a Rick Hahn W? Because Andrew Vaughn, so far this season, only has 4 home runs. Could be more, but I mean, in terms of pace, he's outpacing the former. So I don't know. Just it's questions in my mind, and he comes up big tonight with a 2-run shot in the 6th inning to make it 3-1 for the White Sox in this ball game, Steve. So, I mean, if you're giving out a game ball, probably giving it to Mr. Andrew Vaughn.
And listen, yeah, I mean, if we're giving out game balls or if we're giving out pay-to-click victories, I mean, after I basically single-handedly resurrected the career of Hanser Alberto over the weekend here, I will certainly take I will take another pay-to-click victory here. So, listen, I have a lot of people to thank for this. Actually, no, I don't. I just have myself to thank for it because I've been making some really great picks lately.
Stay on the heater, Steve. We need more victories. That's all I've got to say. Congratulations. I think we hand out cookies for these. You can get those in the break room after the show.
What kind?
Whatever tickles your fancy here.
Frosted sugar cookie?
You like frosted sugar?
Oh, I'm a big Loft House cookie guy. Loft House guy.
Did not know this.
Oh man, I could house an entire container of those things in one sitting, no problem.
If you're looking to send Steve gifts, he apparently accepts frosted sugar cookies.
With sprinkles.
With sprinkles. He needs the sprinkles. Well, we'll sprinkle a little bit more on this one. Sebi Zavala was able to add a run on in the 7th after Vinny Pasquantino, who I've also professed that I like the way he hits baseballs, was able to drive in an RBI in the 6th inning to make it 3-2. Zavala makes it 4-2. And the White Sox bullpen actually did something tonight, Steve, that we don't get to talk about very often, and that is shut down a baseball game. Kelly, Lopez, Graveman, and it was over. How nice was that?
You see something like that happen, and it's like you want to use the Robin Williams gif. What year is this? Because it just feels like it never happens in the year of our Lord 2023. That's for damn sure.
Joe Kelly tonight looked absolutely filthy. This was my observation out of the 3 guys who came out of the bullpen. I was really impressed with Mr. Joe Kelly. This is the version of Joe Kelly that I imagined that the White Sox were getting when he was signed. Nasty fuck you, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Technically, I think it's a sinker if it comes out of Joe Kelly's hand, but if it's 100 miles an hour and it's at the shoulders, his final pitch of the evening tonight, I'm going to call that a fastball. I thought that was absolutely filthy for that strikeout right there. Just there wasn't any sort of drama tonight.
Yeah,
in his outing, even with Lopez and Graveman as well, there was none of the drama. It felt under control, and you're right. What year is it? I don't know, because we haven't watched the bullpen do something like this with any sort of consistency. So you're sort of sitting there on your seat, on the edge of your seat in a 2-run ball game, waiting for this to implode, and it just did not tonight.
Yeah, it's been very rare in the year of our Lord 2023 to watch a White Sox game and not have your blood pressure feel like it's elevating through the roof at various points. So very odd from that standpoint. Obviously, two kind of treacherous spots in the fifth and sixth inning, but again, Giolito really cinchered up and hunkered down, as the great Hawk Harrelson would say, and was able to pitch out of those two situations right there. So you just you like to see that, and I think especially after just how annoying that game was last night. You're up 3-1, and then you get outscored 11-2 after that. To come back from this today, and even when you find yourself in an early deficit, just very relatively mild and stress. Not entirely stress free, but minimal stress, I would say.
That's pretty
unfriggin' believable.
I agree, Hawkaroo.
That's facts only, as you would say. Steve, 4-2 victory. We've got two more with Kansas City. I want to come out of here with a series win. Yesterday was very disheartening. As Pedro Grifol says all the time, just flush it. Felt like they did. Came back today, got the job done. That's a positive sign. I'm ready to get off of this roller coaster. But in the grand scheme of things, this victory doesn't really get me amped up by any stretch of the imagination here. I need another one of those little win streaks that we had before going there for a couple of days. And I would like it very much if the White Sox were able to string a couple together before they come back home on Friday. Any thoughts on what the rest of the series may hold?
I think it would very much behoove them to find a way to get these last two in Barbecue City, which is a place that notoriously has not been the most friendly to them. Circling back to something you said there about Pedro Grifol and his comments about flushing it, has the team somehow made any overtures to a local plumbers union for an advertising sponsorship at this point? I mean, I feel like this is just too easy.
We had this discussion earlier on. I felt like we needed to reach out to some local plumbers unions or plumbing companies or just anybody out there, but I don't think that they have. I know we've got the Plumbers 911 thing going in some of the stadiums around Chicago, but I'm surprised that this has not reached White Sox marketing level of discussions to go with some sort of just flush it marketing campaign. I know you've got the marketing degree, so you're the expert here. It seems like a match made in marketing heaven.
It's really
like Brooks Boyer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. And look, if we know anything, we know Brooks Boyer is just a genius when it comes to marketing this team.
I want the Pedro Grifol just flush it plunger giveaway in September. That's what I want.
Instead of my Meng Howard Ankin, being in a commercial with Tim Anderson every third inning, they need to find somebody that is the president of a local plumbers union and have Pedro in a spot with them there. I mean,
they
this
should.
Stuff, it writes itself. Come on. What are we doing here?
Could you imagine the commercial? Pedro Grifol comes out and he's telling people to just flush it, and their toilet's not flushing. He goes in there with a plunger, and then you get like the Plumbers 911 giveaway with Pedro Grifol's face on the plunger, and it says just flush it, and that's the giveaway sometime in September. This is easy stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
marketing 101. We'll see if they listen.
And why wouldn't they?
We'll see if it happens. I would go. I'd get in line for the Pedro Grifol just flush it.
Wait a minute. Maybe because they're starting to get a little unique with some of their silly Space Wars bobbleheads that they do now, and they'll get a little innovative with the bobblehead that they do for Southpaw. Maybe Pedro Grifol's giveaway will be him in a plumber's attire holding a plunger.
There you go. That as well. That works as well. It's fantastic stuff.
I'm doing Brooks Boyer's job for him. Fuck, I may need to send him a bill.
We're going to just open up a whole segment called White Sox Marketing Thoughts on the Postgame show if this continues throughout the year, Stephen. I I don't have much else here in terms of talking about today's ball game. Victory beers taste great. In fact, I'm gonna open another one here as we are getting towards the end of our show, Stephen. But we do need to do picks to click. I know this is going to be a high pressure moment for you because you're on the heater, you're on the hot streak. You've been picking some winners, Stephen. I know you're a big betting guy, big better guy,
Big better guy.
big better guy. Who's leaving the yard tomorrow? And then I also want some predictions for the remaining 2 games of this series.
Oh, we got Brad Keller on the mound. Now, normally when Brad Keller is on the mound, I'm tempted to take Mr. Timothy Anderson.
Took him to task the other day, and he took an off day.
Yeah. So I'm not real keen on that. I thought maybe Noodle Boy would would come through and break his little home run drought coming back home to Barbecue City. So those 2, they're out. They're out. Tomorrow, we are getting some bat drop porn from Yasmani.
Yasmani Grandal. I like it. I like that. I'm going to go with I'm going to ride Luis Robert Jr. because I need to get back. Need to get back in the left-hand column with some of these picks to click. I've been close on a couple of them.
I'm starting to run away with this thing here.
Yeah, no, I need to ride the hot hand here. I'm going Luis Robert Jr.
Man, just think, I might have to start making some contribute to on tap bets.
Yeah. If you're a big better guy like NWI Steve, make sure you go follow on
everybody knows that
on Twitter. They've had some ups, they've had some downs, but I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of winners were handed out over there earlier today, Stephen. Our guy Beat On and Joey Ricotta, who's a member of the Cubs on Tap show. If you're into the North Side kind of thing, go toss those guys a follow. They do excellent work over there. Stephen, I need your predictions. How are we winding predictions? How are we getting through the rest of the series?
They're going to find a way. They're going to find a way, and they're going
to
get
some TWTW. You think there's going to be some TWTW over the next 2 days?
I think
like to hear this.
I think they're going to go. They're going to go to Joe's Barbecue across the border into Kansas at the little gas station there. Top notch. I mean, the best barbecue I've ever had. Okay,
I'm giving free advertisements with your marketing degree right now.
Listen, I like to support quality products that I stand behind. I'm not just a celebrity endorser. I actually believe in the products that I endorse. Okay. So I think they're going to go, and especially, the big bastard, you can't tell me he's not a big barbecue guy. You can't tell me that.
Pretty sure he is.
So, I feel,
although he's eating a lot of salads these days.
Yeah. I feel like that's a little bit of a shot at somebody related to the organization. Not going to name any names. Not going to name names, but I feel like there's a little subtlety to that right there.
Maybe he's just taking dietary advice. You never know. But when in Kansas City, you shall eat barbecue.
Confirmed.
So you think we're riding out of here with 2?
I think they're going to find a way. Yes.
I love it. I love hearing that, Stephen. I love the positivity coming out of you. I think they're going to split 1-1 out of these next 2 ball games before we get back to Chicago. I'm going Luis Robert Jr. Stephen, your pick to click again was for the listeners.
Yes, money. We're going to get that bat drop porn.
There you go. Stephen, it's always a pleasure talking about a White Sox victory with you.
I enjoy it, Anthony. It's a lot better.
It is. It is a lot better. And you know what? Sean was supposed to be on the show. I think he's tucked into his bed nicely at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? That's a good. Let's take a.
We're gonna break it down.
Step back here. Let's take a quick step back here for a second. You want to go out there. You want to be twittering things about me being in bed. I'm here.
You're up later than Bradley.
I'm here. I'm playing like a goddamn champion. That's
Sean.
what I'm doing.
I wonder if Besnick's still awake.
I am committed to excellence.
Okay? TWTW.
That's right.
I'm just surprised. This is basically a West Coast show at this point in time. So we
Hey,
wanted to make sure
I'm
that
a part-time West Coast kind of guy now.
yeah, you are. So maybe that's helped you out just a little bit in the show scheduling department here. But we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully talking about another White Sox victory because we need more of those. We absolutely need more of those. And maybe getting another game closer to the Minnesota Twins at the top of the AL Central.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We might be. We might be.
We're not doing that.
I don't know if you heard on the postgame show tonight. This team might be able to win the AL Central.
We're not
under 500.
No, we're not doing this.
We're going to do it.
No,
we're absolutely going to do it. We're going to go there. We're going to probably write an article about it on ontapsportsnet.com at some point. You might be tasked.
I will not even acknowledge the thought.
That said, thank you to all the listeners who tuned in. You can find this wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure you're following On Tap Sportsnet on Twitter at On Tap Sportsnet, the show at Sox On Tap on Twitter, Steve at NWI_Steve, myself at Tony On Tap. Subscribe to the YouTube, youtube.com/OnTapSportsnet. We'll be back, hopefully, like we said, talking about another White Sox winner tomorrow. White Sox forever.
White Sox for life.